talked to some folks that said there's a bear just in the next meadow over. Hoping we get to see it. In this video, we're going to teach you how to plan your trip to
Lassen Volcanic National Park.
Hey you guys! Thanks for joining us on another journey. Today we're in Lassen Volcanic National Park. If you're new to the channel, this is April.
Hey.
And I'm Wayne. We do a video every Thursday, so hit that subscribe button and smash that bell. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey.
As far as what to pack when you're planning your trip to Lassen Volcanic National Park, it's like a lot of other places out west. You want to have layers. Yeah. But it's windy, breezy.
Yeah, but beautiful.
Much nicer than the temperatures back in Redding.
Yeah, Redding was like 103 today. It's about 69 degrees when we left the car. We're also at 8,000 feet. 8,500 feet, actually. So we stayed in Redding on the way in, and then on our way leaving the park, we stayed in Susanville. Those are about your closest towns to the park, and they're a good drive.
Well, closest with enough lodging opportunities.
Yes.
In winter months, you want to arrange lodging sooner than later. There are 8 campgrounds in the park. 6 are more accessible and 2 are more remote. The closest airports to Lassen Volcanic National Park, Redding Municipal, but that's probably
For smaller airplanes, more private.
more practical for us traveling there, is the Reno Tahoe or the Sacramento.
Before you come to any of the national parks, we highly suggest checking out nps.gov and especially check the alerts. This is Mother Nature at its finest. Road closures happen, the park's still under snow. I mean, we've run into all kinds of things at all the different national parks, so it's always nicer to know it up front that you're not going to be able to do part of your trip that you thought you were going to because of an earthquake or whatever the case is.
And in these times with COVID, there have been a lot of changes quickly, so definitely check it regularly.
We have our annual pass. Definitely worth getting. $80 a year. You can get into all the national parks, all the national monuments, national forests for an entire 12 months. They also have a military one. If you're active military or retired military, you can get the pass for free for life. That's Lassen Peak. We wanted to go do that trail, but it's a moderate to strenuous 5-mile hike in April.
Strenuous.
Okay, it's a strenuous hike. This is Sulphur Works. It's just a quick pull off on the side of the road. Walk straight up to the boiling mud pots. Definitely worth a stop.
And the steam vent. We are unaccustomed to walking on ground that steams and hisses or bubbles and boils. Such sounds and scenes are more familiar to us in our kitchens than in the great outdoors. National parks offer such wonders, and Sulphur Works is but a small example of the hydrothermal surprises that lie ahead. We did our due diligence and took our little aspirin, and we didn't drink alcohol last night, so hopefully we won't get altitude sickness like we did before.
That's just a tip for you. Take an aspirin when you're hiking at, high elevation. Yeah, before you get to the trails. It just thins the blood out enough to where you're safe.
Drink lots and lots of water.
Lots of water.
The drama of this view is not in what you see, but in what you don't see. Imagine a Mount Shasta-like volcano 11 miles across and towering 11,500 feet tall, filling this view. Some 400,000 years ago, such a volcano stood here. The distant mountain peaks, Mount Conard, Brokoff Mountain, Mount Diller, and Pilot Pinnacle, mark the volcano's remnant edge. When the volcano ceased erupting 400,000 years ago, its slow decay and collapse began. Known as Mount Tehama, or more aptly named Brokoff Volcano, the volcano simply fell apart over time. Glaciers and flowing water further altered and eroded the rock. Bit by bit, the volcano's structure was whittled, fell away, leaving this valley, depression, and the resistant skeletal mountain rim you see today.
Guys, this is becoming a real problem. There's so many people that come to the national parks, they're not staying on the trails. The reason it's a problem is we have millions of people that are coming to the national parks. If everybody gets off the trail, it just destroys the environment, the land. It takes so long for the stuff to heal. It's not used to all these people being there. You've got to stop at Lassen Lake. It is mind-blowing, amazing.
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
And
I wanted to put on a scuba tank and just go down and see how far you can go down.
I bet. So many variations of blues and blue-greens.
Yeah, it just kept changing color.
And then it was like shimmering with the wind blowing over it.
Yeah, very magical.
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. When you head out to Lassen, keep in mind that there's very little cell phone service out here, so download any of the maps and music that you're going to need for your day out at the national park.
Wear lots of sunscreen, meaning apply beforehand and then reapply and reapply again. Tons of water, hiking boots or shoes with good grip.
Yeah, you definitely need it on here. This is a slick trail. The loose ground, loose gravelly gravel, as April likes to say. Hiking boots definitely help out for sure. Leave those tennis shoes at home. You're gonna see the little chipmunks everywhere. Don't feed them. It's not good to feed to animals.
Why?
Because you get them comfortable eating human food. Then in the winter they starve.
And it can also make them sick.
Pets are allowed in the park.
They are not allowed on any hiking trail.
They need to be on leashes. They have to stay in the car or in the parking lot area. You can leave them at home. You don't really want to leave the pets in the car in the summertime. It could be too hot and dangerous for your dog. Check the small towns. You can probably board your dog for a day while you're there.
One thing I noted was that the NPS.gov explains why they don't allow dogs on the trails. You know how it can disrupt the ecosystem with the wild animals there in the national park. And I thought it was nice that they did offer some alternative trails nearby Lassen where pets are allowed.
This is Emerald Lake. Look how clear it is. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
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 What's the placard say?
Emerald Lake was shaped by a glacier and was named for its emerald green waters caused by the abundant green algae that grow on the warm, shallow lake bottom. Deeper and colder glacial lakes are not suitable for algae growth and are usually aqua blue. Formed at the head of a valley glacier, Emerald Lake was cut off from streams and therefore originally fishless. If you see rainbow trout here, it's because they were stocked years ago. Park managers today are eradicating the alien trout. As predators, they eat native species like cascade frogs. The frogs are a species of special concern in California, so the park is restoring the lake habitat for the frogs so that the frogs will have a fighting chance of escaping extinction.
The one thing you're always going to want to do when you come to any of the national parks, especially at Lassen National Park, it's in the middle of nowhere. Also talking about things about being in the middle of nowhere, there's no gas stations near here. You definitely want to fill up on gas before you leave wherever you're coming from. Or electric filling station. If you have an electric car, you won't be able to recharge, so keep that in mind as well. So I know a lot of you people are from back east, lot lower elevation, not the tight, windy mountain roads. The one thing that you're going to want to do when you're driving in these hills is use your gears. Drop it down a gear, let the transmission hold the car back. That way you don't burn up your brakes.
Speaking to the point of driving, the main park highway, just so you're aware, it is very windy and it traverses steep slopes and there are no guardrails. Just so you're aware up front, slow and steady and being cautious is always the way to go. Since you're in a national park, you really shouldn't speed in the park anyway. There are lots of wild animals and you do not want to hit any of the animals out. They will destroy your car. They're huge. You never know when you're going to turn a corner and there might be some backup in cars because someone has spotted wild animal. Yeah, that's one thing that's interesting about this park is I would say it's very close to a small Yellowstone National Park. Something to note is that parking areas fill up at the Loomis Plaza, Bumpus Hill, and Kings Creek trailheads during the peak season. So either get there before 9 a.m. or after 3 p.m. Go with the flow, be mindful that you might need to adapt, have a second or third choice. Park your car to where you're not tearing up the environment. If it says no parking, you do not want to park there. You see, you can gather wood from the area. Please do not bring any firewood from home. If you do need firewood, then buy it on site. Or pick it up off the ground.
Or pick it up off the ground.
Don't pull it off of a tree.
Yeah, don't pull it off of a live tree.
Or a dead tree.
Or a dead tree, exactly. You don't want to burn firewood from your house, as you might have different bugs that will destroy the forest here.
I need to get you a hat, man.
I won't wear it.
I know. I'm not that much of a hat person, but let me tell you.
I'm going to wear a cowboy hat in a couple of weeks when we go to the cowboy festival.
Yeah. It's like a little shade umbrella on your head.
Point out the trail marker to us, April.
Voila.
So for people that aren't too comfortable with hiking, when you're on the trails, especially in the national parks, we usually mark the trails for you every couple hundred feet so you don't get lost.
Yeah, get a paper map from the visitor center, or you can go on All Trails. It's a hiking app, and download the trails map.
Kings Creek Falls Trail in Lassen Volcanic National Park.
Round trip distance is only 2.3 miles. It does have about a 700-foot elevation descend, which means you have to come back up, but I would consider it a moderate hike. It takes about 2 hours. The first glimpse of the waterfall makes it totally worth this hike. I wasn't expecting much because we've been in a drought out west. So far, it's magnificent.
Have you ever seen moss on a tree like that? It's almost iridescent looking. It's glowing during the day.
I think the blue background helps.
Now, I'm
make it
sure the
pop.
camera doesn't pick up the right color, but
You know, the blue background makes it pop.
yeah, it does make it pop.
It's not normally this smoky out here. This is all because there's a bunch of fires wreaking havoc on California and Oregon.
We just talked to some folks who said there's a bear just in the next meadow over, hoping we get to see it. That leads us to a travel tip. Make sure you always bring your bear spray with you. You can't take it on an airplane, so you have to buy it whenever you land, which is whatever national park you're going to. You're going to be tempted by the $3 bear bell. Do not buy the bear bell. It scares the animals away. So the reason that you're coming to the national parks, the reason that everybody else is coming to the national parks is to see the animal. But you're there to see the beauty. You're there to, hopefully, from a distance, see the animals. Now keep in mind, animals are wild. Do not get too close to them.
Don't be stupid.
People get injured by wild animals all the time in these national parks. So that's why you're bringing the bear spray to protect yourself, protect the bear as well.
I enjoyed the walk through the meadows because that's where we got to see the bear.
We had to be very quiet. I snuck behind a tree to get this footage, and I'm still a long ways away from this bear. You have to respect the wild animals. Unfortunately, we had just the GoPro with us. I had left my Canon because I had broke my gimbal the day before. Should you hike Bumpus Hill Trail? We answer this question in a video that we made specifically about Bumpus Hill Trail. We filmed this video in June of 2021, and shortly after that, the Dixie Fire, it wreaked havoc on the national park. Over 73,000 acres were burned in Lassen. That's about 69% of the park's total land area. So definitely check out the national park website and see what places are still open.
There are places still open.
Yeah, we're not discouraging you from going. We just don't know how much is still there to see. We want to thank you guys for watching our video all the way to the end. If you would, hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend, and like always, thank you for living life.